From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, National Security Council declares National Task Force on Small Arms illegal. Motorists express frustration plying Mina Bida Road. Inflation nears all-time high in August. Away from Nigeria, Ukraine's President Zelensky survives car accident. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now on the details. The National Security Council has declared the National Task Force on the Prohibition of Illegal Importation, Smuggling of Arms, Ammunition, Light Weapons, Chemical Weapons and Pipeline Vandalism as an illegal organization. The Council says that the task force, also known as NATFORCE, is not known to law and has advised members of the body to dissolve themselves. Kehinde Amodu reports.
There has been some controversy over the inclusion of NATFORCE in the new act establishing the National Commission for the Coordination and Control of the Proliferation of Small Arms and Light Weapons, recently by the Senate. The declaration of the National Security Council on the task force seems to put to rest the controversy, since the act will be signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari, who heads the council. The questions about who established the task force and the activities that made it illegal remain unanswered, but the question to NATFORCE and similar bodies to it is clear.
It's a body called National Task Force on illegal importation of goods, small arms, and what have you, but the short name for it is NATFORCE. The council declares that body an illegal organization. It should just simply disband itself.
When you come to form an association that is dealing with the issue of security, I think you need to have some registration, you need to be regulated, and the issue of unlawful weapons, arms, and ammunition are being properly managed by the Office of the NSC.
The ministers are refusing to answer any questions about the status of Tukur Mamu, the self-styled terrorist negotiator, but they are quick to point out that he is not the only mediator in the mix.
Mamu has been taken to court by the Department of State Security, DSS, and court has ruled that it should be with them for 60 days for thorough investigation.
Additionally, maybe you only came to know Mamu because he made himself known. There are other negotiators who are there negotiating on behalf of these captives. The parents are also there, the security agencies are also there. We are all negotiating.
Acknowledging progress made by security forces in tackling challenges of banditry, insurgency, and kidnapping for ransom, the Council says the next phase is to consolidate on all these gains. The idea is to ensure that by December, most pockets of insecurity would have been contained, as ordered by the President. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Meanwhile, the National Security Council is keeping mum about the arrest of Tukur Mamu, who negotiated the release of some of those abducted during the Abuja-Kaduna train attack. Ministers of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, and Police Affairs Minister Maigari Dingyadi, however, stressed that all efforts were being made to rescue all persons in captivity. The two ministers pointed out that the arrest of Mamu did not mean negotiations to release the victims had stopped.
Are ongoing to have all Nigerians in the captivity of either kidnappers or bandits. And we are not sparing anything to release them. Mamu, as we have mentioned, is being arrested by the Department of State Security for things or actions that are not friendly to objectives of one, security management and control.
Additionally, maybe you only came to know Mamu because he made himself known. There are other negotiators who are there negotiating on behalf of these captives. The parents are also there, the security agencies are also there. We are all negotiating. So don't say that because Mabu has been arrested, there is no negotiator.
The Nigerian Army has kick-started an operation named Still Waters to ensure crisis-free Yuletide season across the country. In Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, the 22 Armored Brigade Nigeria Army Sobi Barracks also commenced the exercise, which is to refresh the officers' knowledge of battle mapping strategies. According to Brigadier General Adebayo Babalola, the Still Waters exercise is to prepare towards the forthcoming festive season. The routine was organized by the Nigerian Army across all 36 states of the Federation to ensure safety of lives and property. Brigadier Babalola said that the Army has put a lot in place to ensure that Nigeria does not become a safe haven for criminals. The General further affirmed the Army's commitment and readiness to partner with other security agencies to ensure peaceful election process come 2023. The Operation Still Waters exercise involved diverse procedures and it will last for a week. The acting chairperson of the Police Service Commission, retired Justice Clara Ogumbiyi, has officially assumed office less than 48 hours after the former chairman of the commission, Ms. Liu Smith, resigned. Speaking shortly after her resumption, Ogumbiyi, who was until her nomination the Commissioner 1 in the commission and next in hierarchy to the former chairman, promised to run an all-inclusive administration. She also promised to ensure that the management under her leadership will do everything possible to give the staff a commission they will be proud of. The former Justice of Supreme Court expressed her appreciation to her colleagues for the confidence reposed in her, saying that the Commission deserves the best. Meanwhile, the Joint Union Congress of the Commission has suspended its indefinite strike, noting that it was to allow the new management to look into its demands. At least one person has been killed while another was reportedly shot by bandits at Ebo community in Lapai local government area of Niger State. Reports said that the bandits arrived at the community at about 10:45 in the evening and went straight to the vigilante office where they killed one of the vigilantes and shot another one on the leg. The leader of the vigilantes, Malam Yusuf, said that the one that was shot on the leg has been rushed to Gulu General Hospital for medical attention while his men were on the trail of the bandits who ran into the forest after the attack. The Niger State Police Command is yet to release a statement on the incident. Terrorists on Thursday attacked Bakiawa village in Batagarawa local government area of Katsina State, killing one person and abducting several others. The terrorists who arrived at the village on motorcycles shot in the air to scare residents. Residents of Bakiawa village told Trust TV's Abdullahi Ahmadi that the terrorists started unleashing mayhem on them around 1:45 a.m. on Thursday and abducted an unspecified number of people, mostly women and children. Properties worth millions of naira, including cosmetics and clothing materials, were stolen from the villagers. Residents of Bakiawa village, however, commended the combined efforts of military and police operatives who rushed to the area and chased the terrorists away. Now, the National Human Rights Commission has awarded 289 million naira in second compensation to 74 beneficiaries of police brutality. The compensation is awarded by the panel set up by the federal government in November 2020 following the EndSARS protest, which was triggered by nationwide allegations of police brutality. The panel was directed to investigate the allegations of violations of human rights by the defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad and other police units. The chair of the NHRC Governing Board, Dr. Salamatu Suleiman, on Wednesday congratulated the petitioners for their belief in the human rights mechanism in Nigeria.
The Commission will work towards putting in place a permanent mechanism through which we will address cases of any brutality by security agencies and others which are associated with human rights violations arising from their operations. We call upon Nigerians to continue to uphold their rights and make good use of the offices of the Commission in all the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT to report violations of their rights, to follow up, and together we can assure you that we'll work to ensure that the respect and enjoyment of human rights becomes the centerpiece of our democracy.
We are here today to award compensation to 74 beneficiaries, and these beneficiaries are drawn from different aspects of the subject matter of the panel. And by this subject matter, I would want to just emphasize that out of the 74, 25 are for extrajudicial killings, 4 are for enforced disappearances, 25 are for torture, inhuman and degrading treatment, 16 are for illegal arrest and prolonged detention, and 4 are for confiscation of property, extortion, and threat to life. In terms of the Naira and Kobo, how much are we paying out today? By the approval of the National Human Rights Commission and the decision of the Independent Investigative Panel, we are paying out today the total sum of 289,384,094 Naira.
A heavy rainfall that lasted for hours, accompanied by flash floods, have cut off half of the bridge that connected Nasarawa and Plateau State in Akwanga. This is coming barely 48 hours after same heavy rain that causes flooding washed away half of the bridge on the expressway between Isa Mustafa Agwai Polytechnic and Bukan Sidi in Lafia, the state capital. The collapsed bridge near Jinjin Hotel in the heart of Akwanga is also used by motorists coming from Kaduna, Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, amongst others who are heading to Abuja. According to reports, heavy-duty vehicles have been diverted to narrow street, while the other half of the bridge that is still intact is used by smaller vehicles and motorcycles, which the village head described as a death trap. All efforts to speak with the Akwanga local government chairman failed. Motorists have called on Niger State government to expedite action towards completing the reconstruction of Mina to Bida Road, as bridges and river crossings along the road are on the verge of collapse. The contract, which was awarded since 2018, is yet to attain 30% completion. The report.
The reconstruction of 86 kilometers Mina Bida Road was awarded in the year 2018 to an indigenous contractor. The state government at the beginning blamed the slow pace of the work on articulated vehicles plying the road and banned the heavy-duty vehicles. But 5 years after, the pace of the work did not improve. While the construction work moves in a snail pace, the major bridge and the river crossing on Mina Bida Road are on the verge of collapse, with some of them already breaking off due to the persistent rainfall in the last few weeks. Motorists who expressed dissatisfaction with the pace of work called on the state government to look at the plight of the people and ensure completion of the project before leaving the office. We are appealing to state government to fix this road because it is causing damages to our vehicles. We have been suffering on this road for the past 8 years.
We have been battling for this road over 3 years ago, more than even that. When the time of rainy season, we cannot be able to come out. You can see how the place is. And when it comes to the dry season, dust full everywhere. Whatever you kept here will be full of dust. We're always going back with a cough and kata all year. That's how we are battling this over 3 years.
Commercial drivers said the deplorable condition of roads in the state, especially the Minna-Bida Road, is unbearable, where they appealed to those concerned to do something as it is affecting their daily activities.
A federal high court in Abuja has ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to accept and publish Godswill Akpabio's name as the candidate of the All Progressives Congress for the Akwa Ibom Northwest District for the 2023 elections. Delivering the judgment in Abuja, Justice Emeka Nwite held that INEC acted illegally by refusing to accept and publish Mr. Akpabio's name since it was sent to the Election Commission by the APC. INEC had refused to recognize Akpabio as a candidate because the commission did not monitor the APC primary, which he claims to have won. Akpabio, a former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, contested the APC presidential primary in Abuja, but stepped down for the former Lagos State Governor, Bola Tinubu, who emerged as the party presidential candidate. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has urged Nigerians to vote for competent candidates that will salvage the country from its present predicament. The former leader made the call after a closed-door meeting with former military head of state Abdulsalami Abubakar at his uphill residence in Minna, the Niger State capital. Jonathan said that there was need to protect the future of young Nigerians who rely on elites to provide opportunities for them to excel. He said he was in Minna on a courtesy visit and not to discuss politics with the former leader.
Because it's over here that you've seen my face here in the United States. We have our leaders here. Yes, I was the former president, but I'm the most junior among the former presidents. So from time to time, I used to go down and greet them. I have not seen Excellency Abdulsalami for quite some time. And, just came back from treatment abroad. So it's only proper for me to come with some of my friends to pay consequence to greet him. Because we also stopped over to see Adi. We wish him well, because we need him. Because, especially now that we're talking about elections. Each year the National Peace Committee try to midwife the peace process during the election. This is the time that is needed. I know that there's so much pressure on him now. So we all wish our country well, especially for the young people. The elections are coming. We have to select the person we believe that will lead us well, will serve us well. The leader is also a servant, as the president is lead or serve. Somebody that will take the interest of all of us, the interest of the country, and will not compromise our own interests.
Still on political matters, Social Democratic Party, SDP, says making right choices across all elective offices is critical to the survival of Nigeria. Beg your pardon. Now, speakers at an event organized by the party expressed the views in Abuja on Thursday. Yusuf Akogu reports.
As the campaign for the 2023 elections is set to begin as from September 28, rising cases of kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism are seen as threats to the polls.
I hope Nigerians will choose very, very carefully. It should not be business as usual. Take 10,000 and vote for the wrong candidate. No. We can all see the crisis we are going through. 10,000, 20,000 can no longer solve the problem of insecurity, of hunger and inflation. It's because of wrong choices. Voting for 10,000 and 20,000 that has landed us in this mess.
According to the former secretary to the government of the Federation, the poor management of the economy is the only reason for the brain drain affecting all critical sectors of the country.
If you do not restructure Nigeria and revive Nigeria, more and more young people will desert Nigeria. All the doctors are virtually gone. We have to, SDP must govern to arrest that trend.
Other speakers say the current prevailing political environment is also responsible for the continuous increase in poverty rates, urging Nigerians to collectively take back their country.
To eradicate poverty, you have to eradicate greed in government, because the poverty in Nigeria is not for lack of resources. The people of Nigeria themselves have to own it. They should not think of who will give them money to vote. They should not think of who will distribute rice or other material things. They should not enter a covenant with the devil. They should not sell their birthright like Esau in the scripture. So it is not only INEC. All of us have to come together.
The poverty is as a result of poor policy options that have been used or have been employed by incumbents, by poor leadership to push people towards insecurity. Not everybody will endure hardship. So when poverty is endemic, I can guarantee you insecurity and crime, will be prevalent.
Politicians here urge Nigerians to seize the opportunity provided by the new Electoral Act 2022 as amended to make the desired changes and ensure the right leadership in 2023. Yusuf Akogu, Trust Television News, Abuja.
The Supreme Court of Nigeria has organized a valedictory ceremony for retiring Justice Abdu Aboki after he clocked the statutory retirement age of 70. His retirement has now reduced the number of justices to 13 in the Supreme Court. In attendance were present and past governors, well-wishers, and those in higher cadre in the judicial system. Justice Abdu Aboki was appointed a judge of the High Court of Justice, Kano State in 1987, where he served until 2006 before he was elevated to the bench of the Court of Appeal of Nigeria before becoming Justice of the Supreme Court. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. How healthy is beef consumed by citizens? Find out more after the break.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back. This is the News Hour on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories. National Security Council declares National Task Force on Small Arms illegal. Motorists express frustration plying Mina Bida Road. Elsewhere, Nigeria's consumer price index has increased to 20.52%, 7% short of the current record of 28.20% recorded in 2005, the National Bureau of Statistics has shown. NBS, in a report released on Thursday, said that the headline inflation rate, which was a 3.52% points higher compared to the rate recorded in August last year, also reduced when compared to July this year by 0.05%. It said that the increases were caused by a rise in prices of bread and cereals, food products like potatoes, yam, and other tuber, fish, meat, oil, and fat. Meanwhile, it said that the decline on month-on-month basis was due to reduction in prices of some food products due to the harvest season and stability in transportation costs due to availability of fuel. It said food inflation rate was 23.12% on a year-on-year basis, which was 2.82% higher compared to the rate recorded in August 2021. While on a month-on-month basis, the food inflation rate in August was 1.98%. This was a 0.07% decline compared to the rate recorded in July 2022. NBS stated that on a year-on-year basis, urban inflation rate was 20.95%, a 3.36% higher compared to 17.59% recorded in August last year, while rural inflation rate was 3.69% higher compared to 16.43% recorded in August the previous year. Nigerians are again feeling the heat as prices of commodities increase. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal speaks to Nigerians on the continuous rise in the prices of commodities in the Federal Capital Territory and how they are struggling to cope.
The Consumer Price Index is a metric that measures inflation by calculating the price change for a basket of goods. This context refers to goods associated with the cost of living, such as transportation, food, medicine, and energy. The CPI establishes the prices during a base year and calculates the price increase or decrease of some goods during a later year. In Abuja, however, prices of commodities of bags of rice, beans, and other grain and perishable commodities are going up exorbitantly, as the National Bureau of Statistics reported a near all-time high of the CPI for August 2022. Ibrahim Abdulhamid sells grains. He laments that the increased prices of goods have made it harder for common man on the street to buy. Transportation is one of the factors that have made the inflation of goods and other commodities very high. Most of the commodities are being brought into Abuja from other states, making it difficult for poor man to afford. Eating is a necessity for man. The goods have gone up exorbitantly, making it difficult for we the sellers to make the kind of profit we are making. One of the sectors that has contributed to the worsening situation is transportation, as confirmed by this chicken seller.
Last year or last 2 years ago, we are selling like 1.5 or 1.3 or 1.7. So I'm afford now, the thing is very cost. If you need a very big one, through you go reach 4,000, 4,500. It is expensive, too much to the nation, to the country. And the transport motor you are going to supply from Bled, and you are bringing it to Abuja, and you are dropping, and the shop, you are paying the revenue allocation. And that's what we are going to calculate to anything complete our money. We say we put small game, like 50 naira, 100 naira. That is the thing, is making the chicken cost.
Consumers of these products are calling on government to make the food supply chain in the country to be sufficient and more affordable, as it will go a long way in assuaging the plight of the ordinary Nigerian. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Earlier, we spoke with an Abuja-based economist, Emeka Okengu, who gave his perspectives on the implications of the latest development to the ordinary Nigerian.
This was predicted now. It was easy for us to know that we are going to get here eventually. And what would be the drivers? Basically, 2 or 3 things you need to look at, okay? Look at your capacity to be able to produce food internally. Look at the rising cost of your forex, okay? And then look at your insecurity. These are basically, the things you need to measure against a prediction. So this was a war or a disaster or a situation rather, okay? Because it's not a disaster, it's a situation, albeit not a very palatable one that was easy to have been predicted. So it's not a shocker. Well, for me, I think necessity has to become the father of a new invention. So it's not about what is going to plant. What is going to plant is foretold again. It's known. In an inflation, people are going to lose jobs. Okay, prices are going to skyrocket. There's going to be more depression. There's going to be more aggression. So all those are known. But what should bother us now is not the consequences of high inflation. It should be how do we begin to address it, because it's like asking somebody, is it a sunny day? And the person is asking you for a handkerchief to wipe their faces, and it's sunny. We are under the sun now. We're under a lot of intense pressure and heat. So it's for government to begin to now, look at social services and social engagements that might be able to help to cushion this. Okay, cushion the effects of where we're going to on the citizenry, especially the underserved, if you may, the people in the underground economy. We need, what were they calling that thing in COVID? Palliatives. Okay, this is the time I think that government needs to begin to now engage, in direct palliatives distribution. So you need to start calling out people. Okay, this is where your M&E structures, come to play. All right, who is monitoring, who is evaluating, who is oversighting? Okay, for everything you do, the moment you have somebody overlooking it, right, he doesn't have to use a whip, okay, but sometimes you can calmly be, pressured into line. So if there are any failures, it will be the failure of responsibility.
The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Alabi, has reinstated his commitment to partner relevant stakeholders to curb all forms of bribery among officers of the command. He made the call at the 41st graduation of the Police Human Rights Officers held at the Police College, Ikeja, and co-organized by the Lagos State Police Command and the Crime Victims Foundation. The report.
The event is a direct response to complaints from the public on alleged violation of their rights by officers and men of the Nigerian police. These complaints have resonated within the authorities of the Nigerian police, which is now making efforts to improve the human rights record of the force. This is why the graduation of the police human rights officers is seen as a bold step towards addressing human rights violations among police officers.
We are all aware that policing is knowledge-based. It's knowledge-based. Any deficiency in the acquisition of knowledge will impact negatively in our efficiency and our productivity. So, knowledge is a power and is a prerequisite for us to enhance our capacity and our efficiency in doing our job. That's the reason why we don't joke with training and retraining.
The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Alabi, reiterated the commitment of the police to actively train officers to enhance their capacity and adhere strictly to the rules of engagement while dealing with members of the public.
Principally to witness the graduation of our officers who are course 41 in human rights training, human rights and election security management training, organized by Crime Victims Foundation and RULAC. And I'm so happy with what I've seen. And like I said in my remark, it's a way to enhance their capacity and efficiency in their work.
On her part, the project coordinator of the Lagos State Police Command and Crime Victims Foundation, Gloria Egbuji, urged civilians to be cognizant of their basic rights.
If you are still paying money for bail in Lagos State today, you are ignorant of your rights. The commissioner who does not tolerate it is here. All you need to do is to give police the right surety they demand. You must give them acceptable surety for them to be able to get the suspect when they need them. Anyone who pays money for bail face prosecution. So if you give, if you accept, it's both ways.
She reminded them that bail is free and urged them to report any officer who tells them otherwise.
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has suspended Azman Air for failing to meet the requirements for AOC renewal. The regulatory body said it had given Azman Air much time to renew the AOC, but failed despite issuing the airline another 30 days ultimatum to meet the requirements. The suspension comes a few weeks after the NCAA threatened to withdraw airlines' licenses over indebtedness to the regulatory agency. A spokesperson with the airline, Noura Aliyu, said efforts are on to address the issue as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Azman Air has reacted to the suspension by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, saying communication gap is responsible for the suspension. General Manager, Administration Services, Suleiman Lawal, speaks to Salim Umar.
Well, we are not happy with what happened actually, and we apologize to the customers that actually there's a miscommunication, and that would cause the whole problem. And I assure them by tomorrow we should be flying our machine, inshallah. We are paid, it is the communication problem we had, but we are paid everything, we are paying everything, we are paying whatever we want it, and we are going to operate inshallah.
The astronomical hike in air transport fare in the country has forced passengers to turn to road transportation as an alternative despite the worrying security challenge. Some Lagos passengers disclosed that they have no option than to resort to plying roads as the air ticket is regrettably beyond reach. Trust TV's Abbas Alibi tells us more.
Local airlines in the country have jacked up the cost of domestic flight tickets by almost 100% to 150%, making it too expensive for a low and medium income earners to afford. Muhammad Abubakar Bushari, a frequent air traveler, said Nigerians are seriously disturbed about the hike in the cost of flight tickets.
They complain that they don't have aviation fuel. That is what caused the increase of the price of air ticket. But people, to be frankly, people are seriously disturbed. There are some people, they don't have option whatsoever. They have to, because of the insecurity in the road. There are some, because they don't have the money, they cannot afford to make the payment. They go back to road transportation.
He said government should come up with a safe alternative method of transportation in the country as roads are not safe.
Government should make all those things as a public-private partnership to ease business activities in the country so that other investors may come in. But one of the most challenging issues is the issue of insecurity that is discouraging the investors to come and invest. And I know that these are just a challenge, temporary challenge.
According to the president, Road Transport Employers Associations of Nigeria, Musa Metakobi, the organization is doing everything possible to control the cost of transport for the benefit of the masses. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
The incessant attacks on farming communities by bandits and the cost of farming inputs may take a toll on farmers in Nigeria. Farmers in Benue State who are known for mass agricultural production are grappling with these challenges coupled with hike in the prices of fertilizer and other farm inputs. The report.
The farmers decried over lack of fertilizer subsidy this farming season, which they said would definitely affect farm produce.
They will talk about government subsidizing fertilizer.
Now, you will not even see a bag of fertilizer. Today, a bag of urea or fertilizer goes to 20,000. NPK is 14,000. How many farmers can afford that? The aim is even defeated. People are living from hand to mouth.
Agriculturist and consultant called on farmers not to depend on government all the time. He urged them to learn to save for the farming season from their harvest.
I would never really say they are doing anything anyway, and I wouldn't tell people to depend on the government for anything, because if they do, they are on their own actually. Yeah, so I would prefer that they serve what they have. The government cannot be the end of everything for us as farmers in Benue State. Without the government, we still farm, you know. So we can always leverage on the things we have available at our localities to do to conduct our farming. Money may not come from salaries or from any other way it may come, but like I mentioned, if you have to reserve some things, it's not the yield you did last year, you can get good money. For now, the government has tried in the way of saying that people should go back to farm.
Director Benue State Ministry of Agriculture said Benue is lucky to have a fertile land. He said farmers should make the best use of their land to harvest what they can.
Some of them are doing too well. The ones that come in. Our problem is change of attitudes. You know, most of these are our boys. Some fee agriculture, all these things they say we want government to come and give that very young man that is complaining 1 million. The next 2 days, call him. He's in Lagos or Abuja. The money finish. You won't see him here. They look at agriculture as an occupation for countryside people, not knowing that agriculture is business now.
With insecurity in Benue State and the cost of farming inputs, farmers in Makurdi are skeptical about the state being able to take its rightful stand as the food basket of the nation.
Meat is one of the major components of food Nigerians consume daily, but citizens do not interrogate how healthy the animals being killed for meat are. Are the Nigerian abattoirs fully sanitized for the processing of meat, and how is the beef transported from abattoirs to various markets? In Katsina, Abdullahi Amadi attempts to get answers to these questions and many other issues associated with the sources of meat Nigerians eat.
This is how the central abattoir and some slaughter slabs look like in Katsina State. Thousands of animals are brought here, slaughtered, processed, and sold to prospective buyers for consumption in hotels, restaurants, suya joints, and in many residences. Most of the slaughter slabs and abattoirs lack adequate water and other sanitation facilities to ensure cleanliness, which is dangerous to human health. Our major concern at this central abattoir is lack of enough water to wash the entire abattoir before use. In fact, like me now, I have to devise a means of getting water to wash the portion I slaughter animals. Except for the central abattoir and some few slaughter slabs within Katsina metropolis, where sanitary inspectors are seen, other local slaughter slabs, especially in rural areas, are left at the mercy of God.
We have technical staff overseeing the activities in the slaughter slab. All those are there during the process of slaughtering the animals. They inspect the organ of the animal. After inspection, one butchers finish their work. Our sanitary laborers sanitize the slaughter slab.
The same thing goes to animals inspection officers. Though this veterinary doctor assured of antemortem and postmortem inspection of animals in Katsina local government, he also admits inadequate manpower to handle the inspection of the meat people eat.
The animals that are slaughtered in our slaughter slabs within Katsina local government metropolis, actually we can see they are healthy. Most of the time when you visit our slaughter slabs, like you can see in our records, most of what we are recording are either hydatidosis or fasciolosis, or sometimes you will have either liver abscess or lung abscess. In such conditions, what we normally do, we take judgment on such kind of meat that is slaughtered at the slaughter slab.
Similarly, one can hardly pass without putting a question mark on the sanitary condition of abattoirs and slaughter slabs, as well as the way meat is being exposed to flies and dust, especially at its point of sale to the consumer. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students, Zone D, in the southwest on Thursday blocked a major highway in Bongong, Osun State, to protest the lingering industrial action embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The Zone D coordinator, Olatunji Adeboye, who spoke during the protests, demanded a law that will prohibit children of politicians from schooling abroad, noting that such a law will make the operation of the public universities more efficient. The protesters had blocked Ife-Ibadan road to traffic and prevented vehicular movement, with many commuters caught on the road stranded for several hours. Adeboye, who demanded proper funding of education, regretted the manner the federal government is handling the disagreement with ASU and called for rethink in order to save the sector from total collapse. Civil society organizations have decried the level of abuse, stigmatization, and discrimination against persons with disabilities in Osun State. At a press conference in Osogbo, they urged Osun State government to address the problem by domesticating the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018. One of the persons with disabilities in the state, Fumilayo Abdullah, said that men are abusing women with disabilities because of their condition. Community mobilizers Eni Ayeni and Afolabi Fajemilo charged the state governor, Adeboyega Oyetola, to fast-track the process of domesticating the law in Osun State to stop the abuse, stigmatization, and discrimination against persons with disabilities in the state.
We have so many people that is abusing women with disability. We have a lot of them. We want that thing to, the act to stop. So if we have this disability list law, that thing would curb all the perpetrators to stop what they are doing.
There are a lot of discrimination ongoing as far as persons with disabilities is concerned. There will be, because inside the bill, room for employment opportunity, health services and all that is going to benefit them. And as we rightly said, there is no disability, but what is in place is barrier. So with this bill in place, when the bill comes into place eventually, it's going to help in removing those barriers. So it's going to benefit the disability community a lot.
Effort towards, ensuring that the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act is domesticated in Osun State, because that is the only thing that can ensure, safety, protection, and welfare of persons with disability in the state. And this is because persons with disability have suffered long-term discrimination, exclusion, stigmatization, and we find them at the lowest bottom of a ladder of poverty, and it's because government policies, programs are not inclusive of persons with disability. And so when this law is in place, you have provisions that will ensure that persons with disability can access good health, can access education and other critical social sectors.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. We'll take a short break and the news continues. That's great. That's good to see you. Welcome back. This is the News Hour on Trust Television. Now, moving on. A motorist collided with a vehicle carrying Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky as his motorcade passed through Kyiv, though the president was not seriously injured in the accident. Spokesman to the president, Sergei Nikiforov, who confirmed the accident in a statement posted on Facebook, said medics accompanying the president provided the driver of the passenger car with emergency aid and transferred him to an ambulance. He said that the doctor who examined President Zelensky said no serious injuries were detected, adding that law enforcement officers will investigate the circumstances of the accident. Now, about 286 persons of Lebanese, Egyptian, Syrian, Italian, Palestinian and American descent have officially been conferred Nigerian citizenship rights by President Muhammadu Buhari. 208 of the recipients were given citizenship by naturalization, while 78 others got theirs based on registration. At a brief ceremony at the State House in Abuja on Thursday, President Buhari admonished them to be good ambassadors of the country while reciprocating the love and acceptance from the Nigerian people. Minister of Interior Rauf Aragbeshola confirmed that the 286 foreigners had gone through diligent checks by agencies of government as stipulated by the Constitution and have fulfilled all statutory and administrative requirements. Thursday's conferment ceremony is the first to take place since 2018. Most of the new awardees have been residing in Nigeria for several years, contributing to the growth and development of the country. Now, Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson has formally submitted her resignation letter following a narrow loss to right-wing parties in recent elections, although the final tally was yet to be announced. Now it was up to the Riksdag and the Speaker of the Parliament, Andres Norlin, to oversee the process of Sweden forming a new government, she told a press conference on Thursday. She also told Norlin that her door remained open to her conservative challenger, Ulf Kristersson, if he changed his mind and decided to work with her Social Democrats instead of the far-right Sweden Democrats, a populist anti-immigrant party that saw a surge in support. Meanwhile, the final count from Sunday's voting had not yet been made known. However, with 99.9% of votes from all 6,578 voting districts counted, the four-party alliance led by moderate party chief Kristersson was set to take 176 legislative seats to 173 for Andersson's four-party left-leaning bloc. Finally, President Muhammadu Buhari has conferred national honors on all Team Nigeria's medalists at the 2022 Commonwealth Games and the World Athletic Championships. Also approved was a cash reward totaling 200 million naira to all members of the Nigerian contingent to the competition. The president rewarded the athletes for their achievements after receiving them at the State House on Thursday. Kainde Amodu reports.
Nigeria won 12 gold, 9 silver and 14 bronze, a total of 35 medals at the Commonwealth Games. The Nigerian team also finished as the best-ranked African country on the medals table, placing 7th. Tobi Amusan, who won gold in the women's 100 meters hurdles and is the world record holder, was awarded the Officer of the Order of the Niger. Other medalists were also given national honors. President Buhari says his government is committed to rewarding excellence, especially the members of Team Nigeria who ignited the spirit of victory in the nation through stellar performances at international competitions.
12 times the world stood still as our green, white-green national flag was hoisted and the national anthem recited. 35 times we made it to the podium. You all Team Nigeria made that possible. You brought glory and honor to our country. And today, on behalf of the nation, I say thank you.
The president urged private individuals and corporate organizations to support government's investment in sports, which has been reclassified from being a recreational activity to being a business in line with modern practices worldwide.
Early last year, I appealed to private individuals, corporate organizations, and subnational governments to support our athletes. I had no doubt this support will come. I thank all of the people that made the initiative a success, and I urge more organizations to support the government in investing in our sportsmen and women.
The Minister of Youth and Sports Development described 2022 as an outstanding year in the history of Nigerian sports, which shall not be forgotten in a hurry.
And with that, we wrap up the news hour on Trust Television. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube. I am Ayuba Ile. Thank you for watching.